What's up, guys? Welcome to Viewpoint Abroad. I'm John, and today I got something for you guys. Something a little different today. I was sitting here at work in the office and reading some news, man, and I came across this article, and I thought it was quite interesting. Basically, what it's talking about, man, it's talking about the tensions right now between America and China, and all this tension is basically over the virus, the spread of the COVID-19 virus, and the variants and other things related to basically related to the virus, right? So today, man, I'm going to share this with you guys. I'm going to read this article to you guys and kind of break it down from what I'm seeing. I'm on the ground and I talk to Chinese people every day, and so I can tell you guys, kind of the thought process behind this article and what China is saying. Is I live here, right? And which, take this with a grain of salt. Like some of it it's obviously going to be a little bit biased towards China because this came out on Chinese news, but at the same time, a lot of what they're saying has a lot of truth to it, in my opinion. And so I just want to share this with you guys, and I'll share with you like my overall thought or opinion on this, I guess, and I'll break it down as we go. And then you guys, man, I would really love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on this piece. So you can, in the comments below, say what you think. And if you don't agree with me, that's fine. No big deal, no hard feelings. Ain't gonna be no fighting in the comments, nothing like that. I just like to know your thoughts and opinions on this particular piece of information. All right. So I'm gonna read it right now. I'm gonna jump right in, and let's get started, man. Let's just get started. So I got the article here on my phone. It's a news article. We're going to check it out. So it starts like this. It says, the U.S., India, and many other Western countries have failed completely in their efforts to combat the novel coronavirus, the result of which has been significant loss of human lives in those countries. We know that, right? Lots of places has suffered loss of life due to COVID. We know that. It's not news. So they go on to say, nevertheless, they have recently started to question China's successful zero COVID-19 case containment playbook, claiming it is too costly to economic growth and the lockdown is overly restrictive, limiting people's freedom to move out of their homes and outside and to do everyday daily activities. So basically, America is telling China, your policy is violating people's rights. You're telling people they can't go outside, and you're telling people that they have to stay home, and it's a violation of their freedoms. It's basically what America is saying to China. So China goes on to respond. Their skewed logic is essentially that tens of thousands of deaths of their own countrymen is acceptable, but a government should not cross the line of requiring close contacts of a confirmed COVID-19 patient to remain in quarantine for 14 days or an extra 7 days home observation as demanded by most Chinese cities. So China says, America, you guys, where's your logic? Why would you not make people stay home? It's only for 21 days, right? 14 days quarantine, maybe an extra 7 at home if you left your home, right? So top 3 weeks quarantine, but instead of doing that, you guys are letting everybody go out freely and do all this crazy stuff and risk each other's lives, right? So they're saying, where's the logic, America? Why are you doing that? Why don't you just stop them? So in July, the highly transmissible Delta variant snuck into Nanjing City, East China's Jiangsu province. So that's just the state in China, and the virus popped up in a city there, the Delta variant of the virus. And since then, it spread to more than 15 provinces, causing the latest flare-up of the pandemic in China. So 15 provinces. So it started in one, and then it spread to 15 other states in China. Immediately, the U.S. and other Western media grabbed the opportunity to loudly assert that Chinese government will face enormous difficulty in curbing the spread of the Delta variant in China. So basically, as soon as America heard about this, they said, you guys got the virus back again, and you're gonna have a tough time. What you're doing didn't work. So then they go on to say many overseas media outlets even claimed that now it is time for Beijing to rethink its approach on stifling the virus. So they basically say, Chinese government, you guys need to do something different to stop this virus, right? So China responds with a question, and they say, should China give up our zero COVID-19 case playbook and start to live in coexistence with the virus as suggested by the American media? So they're saying, so we should stop doing what we're doing and just live with the virus like you guys are doing, just go out and immerse ourselves in the virus. As the virus is still raging across the planet and new mutations constantly emerge, the stakes are too high for a country of 1.4 billion people, the world's largest, with swaths of the population living in high-density urban environments. So China says, basically, we have 1.4 billion people, that's a lot of people, and we're not willing to risk the spread of this amongst this many people. It's so many people, and we're not gonna go out and live in the virus. There's too many of us. It'll spread too fast. China simply cannot and must not take that risk. So China says, no, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna continue keeping people in lockdown and quarantine and doing all this stuff, right? We're not gonna listen to you guys. So as long as the virus remains highly infectious and prevalent throughout China's neighboring countries and regions, this country cannot let its guard down. So China says, we're safe now, but everybody around us still isn't safe. So we're keeping our doors closed, keeping our borders closed. You guys aren't coming in, right? You're not gonna bring that shit over here. So let's see. So China is doing its best to resist the new imported cases at seaports, airports, and all border crossings. So most of the international airport, they're not closed, right? People can still come and go, especially ones who are, working or have to come for work purposes. But they're monitoring those closely by testing and quarantining. And then also for the seaports, they actually, I've seen this recently, actually they're testing not just the workers, but they're also testing the packages and containers and all this stuff. They're testing those for the virus before they even release those packages. And they're even holding those packages for days and weeks on end just to make sure that there's no virus that's there that didn't show up in the test. So they're testing them multiple times. Okay. All the designated hospitals treating coronavirus patients, including cases imported from abroad, need to heighten their level of readiness to guard against medical personnel and cleaning workers from inadvertently becoming infected, as this happened in Zhengzhou City, Henan. So China says, we let our guard down in some of these places and the virus popped up and some people got sick. So after that, they said, we're gonna lock down and we're gonna pay close attention to this stuff and we're not gonna let our guard down anymore. We're gonna be testing everybody. Even if you're a janitor, we're testing you, testing everybody. Actually, I'll tell you about that later. So anyway, China then goes on to say, it's important to get more people vaccinated so as to prevent severe illness and fatalities. So China says, it's important to get vaccinated. It'll possibly keep you from getting hospitalized or dying. They don't say it will keep you from getting the virus, right? China knows if you get vaccinated, you can still get the virus. They'll mention that. It says, but considering what has occurred in the US where vaccination rate has reached over 50%, the sweeping Delta variant is causing new daily average infections to spike at more than 110,000 in just the last week, tragically leading to more than 500 deaths per day of the American people. In India, the Delta variant has claimed more than 400,000 lives, and the actual number of deaths could be twice, according to India media reports. So, like I just mentioned, China says the vaccine is not going to stop you from getting the virus. You can still get the virus with the vaccine, and you can still pass it on to other people. And so the people you pass it on to, maybe they haven't been vaccinated, and so they're risking, being hospitalized or even death. So China is basically saying that getting the vaccine is kind of like a measure of precaution to save your life, but it's not going to stop you from getting sick. So China says the reason why America is still having all these deaths and all these sickness is not that the vaccine is ineffective or nothing, but the problem is people aren't quarantining. People need to spend time out of the public. They need to be in home quarantining. So they're saying these are just preventative measures, right? And get the virus and wear a mask. These are preventative measures, but it doesn't mean it's the end all be all. It's not going to stop the virus from spreading, right? The only way to stop it from spreading is if somebody gets it and then they stay home and wait it out instead of passing it to someone else, right? Let your body kill it. So that's what they're saying there. So then they go on to say, Chinese philosophy is that life overrides all else. In our minds, the government must do everything in its capacity to protect the lives of Chinese citizens, which explains why China bans personal ownership of firearms and has enacted the strictest law against drug trafficking. So China says, in order to protect our people, right, in order to protect the Chinese people, this is what we got to do. We got to make these people stay in the house until the virus has gone, which now it has. It's safe now, right? It's gone. Like in 30 days, they've killed this new variant. So anyway, they also talk about firearms and drug trafficking. So things that are dangerous to people or can cause loss of life to people, China basically bans those things, right? So we all know drugs are bad, right? Drugs kill people, right? We all know, not saying guns are bad, but people with guns sometimes do dangerous things like kill people, right? So they try to eliminate those things from happening. It also explains why the country's top leadership made the swift and decisive order to shut down Wuhan City in January 2020 after learning the strange coronavirus outbreak could be as worse as SARS or even Ebola and may quickly spread to other provinces if the city was not locked down immediately. So China says because they have regard for human life in China, they just quickly shut down the whole city to keep this spreading all throughout China and hurting or killing even more people, right? That's why they shut down an entire city of like 15 million people. The government scrambled to set up more than 10 makeshift hospitals in Wuhan within a month and rushed thousands of respiratory doctors and nurses from other provinces and the military to help deal with the abrupt health crisis. So they sent everybody in, all the doctors, the military, everybody went to one city and they locked them in and tried to fix those people in that city. Wuhan's lockdown was lifted about 2 months later, and the country's economy quickly recovered. So that city was locked down for 2 months, nobody in, nobody out for 2 months, and they shut it down. And now it's recovered. It's already recovered. It's back to normal. Life is normal there. Okay, the stay-at-home order enforced across China caused a massive 6.8% GDP dent for the first quarter of 2020. So January, February, March 2020, China took about a 7% hit on their GDP. Their economic growth went 7%, quite a large amount. But from the Chinese government's perspective, the short-term economic loss was necessary because it's a trade-off of at least 1 million precious lives. So China government says, we'll take the 7% loss on our economic growth if it saves 1 million people's lives. Screw the economy. We care about our people. We're going to help them keep living, right? We're not going to let them die because this virus came out. So after the virus was, After the virus was largely controlled, economic activity quickly returned, and China was the only major economy in the world reporting 2.3% year-over-year positive growth. That feat containing the virus while fostering a rise in GDP earned the ruling CPC's Communist Party of China praise from broader public. So basically, after this was contained, after the 2 months of lockdown, then everything came back to normal. And then after the entire year, China still finished the year with a 2.3% growth in GDP. So despite the lockdown, despite the initial hit on the economy during the lockdown, the economy recovered, it bounced back, and it even grew by 2%. So basically, China is saying, America, you guys don't worry about economic growth. Just lock it down, take the hit, get everybody better, and then open back up, and you'll probably be like us. Your economy will come back. Because let's face it, America has like the largest economy in the world. So what China is telling America they should do, for me, I think it makes sense, right? Take care of your people. Shut it down for a couple months. Who cares if the economy goes down for, 4 or 5, 10% even. If it's just for a few months and then it bounces back and recovers in less than a year, why not do that to save your people, right? That's what China's asking America. So unfortunately, many countries, the US included, did not follow China's example, often using a combination of conflicting approaches to prevent their economies from collapsing. So China says, unfortunately, America, you guys are too much worried about your economic growth instead of your people. You should have listened to us and you'd be fine by now. Then they go on to say, where's it at? The Trump and Biden administrations, as well as India's Narendra Modi government, I don't know how to say that, sorry. As well as India's government, they never had the courage or the vision to temporarily shut down the cities, towns, and villages in their country in order to filter out cases, isolate their close contacts, and cut off the contamination chain. So this is what China says. You got to cut off the contamination chain. The only way to do that is to lock people down. Don't let people move. And then you can't spread amongst other people. And they basically say Trump and Biden both dropped the ball on this by not doing this procedure, even though China told them, they said, guys should do this. This works. And Trump and Biden both said, no, we're not doing that. We're going to do something else. And yeah, you see what's being done. So many Americans even refuse to put on masks. And the outcome has been clear for all the world to see. Kind of true, I guess. You see people every day fighting. They politicize this thing, right? The mask and the vaccine and all this stuff. So people, don't want to do this, don't want to do that. And it's simple, really easy to do. So after 2 weeks of proactive containment measures, so 2 weeks of quarantine, including rounds of nucleic acid testing and lockdown of the risky community, so quarantine, regular COVID tests, and closing down the areas or neighborhoods that have COVID, right? You don't have to close down the whole city, you just close down the neighborhood, right? The latest Delta outbreak in China is basically now under control, with only Yangzhou City reporting around 12 cases. So one city in China has 12 cases of the Delta variant. Outbreaks in other cities have already been stamped out. So China has 12 cases of COVID as of this morning. This article was released this morning. China has 12 cases of the Delta variant of COVID in the entire country. No more. In the past months, this country has witnessed sporadic virus outbreaks in Heilongjiang, Yunnan, Xinjiang, Beijing, Guangdong, and Jiangsu, but all of them have already been contained. The Chinese people are now at ease, no longer living in lingering fear of getting infected because they have a strong and capable government to protect them. Now that's a little bit over the top, but I see what they're saying. I mean, yes, do I think the government acted quickly and in the people's favor and saved millions of lives? I do agree with that. I do think they did that. But just the wording of this is a little bit over the top. There's obviously a strong sense of, nationalism in this last paragraph of the article, But it is true, because Chinese people are actually really proud of how the government handled this. If you talk to, any of the Chinese people, and then they're seeing what's going on in the rest of the world, they're proud of their country. And I think, they have a right to be. It is totally unnecessary for China to open a discussion with America about the pros and cons of China's zero COVID-19 case approach is suggested by some epidemiologist. I can't hardly say that word. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. China says, we're not even going to waste our time talking to you guys. We're not going to entertain your ideas of us rethinking something, because look what we did. It's working, and it worked. We're fine. We're back to normal. Our economy's growing. Everybody's outside. People don't have to wear masks. People don't have to get vaccinated if they don't want. Everything, life is back to normal. We're just keeping our doors closed because we don't want it to turn into chaos again. So China says, we're not even going to entertain the idea of sitting down at the table and discussing this with you guys. We told you guys our plan. We told you guys what we're going to do, and we did it, and it worked. You guys should do the same instead of telling us what to do when you guys don't have your shit under control, right? So that's basically what they said there. And then the very last paragraph of the article right here, the 1.4 billion people in China have embraced the successful containment-based approach, and there's no way for the country to discard it now, opening the doors to the new, chilling reality of wide-scale infections and death. So that's it. That's how they end it. So they basically say the 1.4 billion people in China are happy that they got locked down and got quarantined for a couple months, because now they can live a normal life. Because now they see what the rest of the world is facing, right? All this crap that everybody else in the world is facing with the deaths and the spread and all this. The Chinese citizens are basically saying, we don't care about the quarantine. It didn't bother us that much. We stayed home. We worked from home on the computer or whatever. And now everything's back to normal. We can live our normal life like we did before. So, and which is true. That's how it is right now. Everybody it's back to normal. Everybody's back to work. I'm at work right now. I'm not wearing a mask. Nope. Nobody at work is wearing a mask. You can go outside and look. You won't see anybody wearing a mask, because it's contained. It's fine. Nothing's going on here now. But I do want to point out this, because I see this a lot on the whatever, people arguing and fighting about this whole vaccine thing, right? And China even stated this in several articles, not just this one, but they said, the vaccine can prevent serious illness like hospitalization and death, but it doesn't keep you from getting the virus, right? You can have the vaccine and still get the virus, right? You can still have the vaccine and still get the virus and still pass the virus on to someone else who may not be vaccinated, right? And that person who isn't vaccinated could face the serious illness, hospitalization or death. So China openly says that this vaccine isn't the end-all be-all. It's not going to cure everything, right? So they basically say, don't get the vaccine and then go out in the middle of a pandemic like everything's fine, because you're still at risk, right? They say the best way to keep yourself from being at risk is to quarantine, to cut off the chain, the containment chain. So, there's a pandemic outside. You shouldn't be outside, right? It's simple. So you only go outside if it's necessary, right? If your company allows you, right, you do your work from home, which in China they did that. They shut everything down. Everybody had to work from home. It was mandatory. So people were working from home. They weren't going outside. And even like you had we have a huge delivery system here. You can just call up on the phone or the app, right? And you order your groceries and somebody brings it to you. Like, you don't have to go outside. And they don't even talk to you. They literally, knock on your door and they leave the groceries at your door and they leave. There's no face-to-face interaction. So the way China handled all this was, some of it's partly due to the infrastructure with all these different services and apps that are available that eliminated the face-to-face contact. So people were able to stay home without going out, still able to get their groceries, and still able to do the things that they normally do. They just didn't get to go outside. And so they're basically telling you guys, why don't you guys just do the same? If you don't want to wear the mask, fine, stay in the house. You don't want to get the vaccine, fine, stay in the house, right? So you still have your freedom to not wear the mask and still have the freedom not to put this stuff in your body that you're worried about or scared about. You don't have to do that. Just stay in the house until it's over. And it'll be over in 2 or 3 weeks if everybody would be able to do that, because they would cut off the chain, right? So that's what China's trying to tell America. That they're not like trying to boast and say we're better than everybody and this and that. They're just trying to say, we told you guys over and over and over what to do, but you guys have had maybe too much freedom in the past, or you know, your country people are worried about their violation of freedoms when it's just a couple of weeks. It's not like, you know, America, we're not telling America to take away people's freedom forever and whatever. There's, you know, just give them 2 or 3 weeks in the house, clear the virus, then back to normal life. But from my opinion, obviously the American government hasn't decided to do that, and also the American people, which I'm American too, but haven't decided to do that because they're busy fighting each other over, you know, the politics of it when it shouldn't be a political thing, right? Just my 2 cents. Like I said, I'm not saying I'm the end all be all, right? I'm not right, I'm not wrong. That's just my thoughts and my feelings about it. So, you know, if it was me, if I was in America right now, and didn't have to go to work, if I could work at home on my computer, that's what I would do. I'd just stay at home and work at home. And I would, you know, if I went out somewhere, I would wear the mask. And I would probably have the vaccine just to have a backup, you know, just to keep, you know, have an extra assurance that if I do get sick, then hopefully I wouldn't die. So they're preventative measures, right? They're not gonna stop you from getting sick. So anyway, that's it, man. That's my thoughts and opinions on that. I'm done. I just wanted to share that with you guys. Hope you found it interesting, at least. And I would like to hear from you guys, though, man. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. You know, no hard feelings. Just be interested to see some of your guys' ideas or perspectives on what, you know, the conversation or the tensions between China and America on this situation. And let me know what you think about how America handled it or how China handled it, or whatever, the whole vaccine mask thing, man. Just drop your opinion down there. It'd be nice to have a look at it, man. And so, man, that's it. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna stop right here. And if you guys liked this video, let me know, and I can make some more videos like this in the future, right? So if you liked it, hit the damn like button, okay? If you didn't like it, that's fine, right? If you like it, hit the like button. And then you can, you know, comment and subscribe. I can make some more videos for you guys, man. So I'll see y'all next time. I love y'all. Take care. Stay safe. See you next time.